one. Our last webinar, we had a play, I think it was our very first one, where it was a player from Newman, I believe, that was slashing and got a guy kind of twice on the shoulder. And the question was, should that be 1 slash or 2? The way I saw that one, the first one was like a 55%er, and the second one was a 73%er, and that totaled right over 100. So I would have called that one 1, which I think might have been the consensus. This one, though, might be a little different. I don't know. Dustin, what do you think about this? Oh, also, Dustin and Luxian have not seen these clips, and we've not discussed these clips yet. So they're watching them for the first time.
Well, definitely what gets me right away is the rearing back over his head to, chop some lumber there. He's uncontrolled with his However, if you look at him, he's making. It looks from the view that I have, it looks like he's making contact with the bottom hand.
Yep.
So
I might let that go. If we've had some wild play, again, context is key. We got 2 good teams with a really quality teams. Then I'd let that go at even high school. So, and we're talking high school. So, yep, I'd let that go.
You wouldn't even call 1 slash. I was thinking 1 slash versus 2.
No, I would not. I think that's a clean check. Although he does like Dustin talks about when he rears over. Yeah, that's now getting a violent blow, and you can still hit the stick with a violent blow and get a slash. So. Yeah, I'm thinking right there, that one is probably enough to go with the slash.
Yeah, if he's gonna rear back like that
one right there, yeah,
he better be on the button. He better make contact exactly where the rule says he can make contact.
Yeah. So I kind of agree, having now seen it. And on the field, you also hear it, so you get that advantage too.
I tell you, as being a long pole player from a long time ago, if I got hit on my hand or my butt stick end with a check like that, that ball's probably coming out. Yeah. I mean, that's got some force behind it. Now, I can't say that I can see exactly where he hit him, but it looks suspicious to me like he caught him, at least one of them in the hip, if not both of them.
No doubt about it. If he makes contact on the hip,
that's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
I agree. I can't see the contact, but that extra rear right there where that thing is wrapped around his head, that's a bit much.
For you golfers out there, he's getting a lot of lag on both of those.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is going to be clip number 3-2. If anybody's having to look at the YouTube videos, 3-2.
What happened?
Hit him right in the head.
Yeah.
Bam.
Hit him right in the head. Yeah. Hit him right in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So right there. Yeah.
Call.
So the reason I put this one in there is because when all the neck and head super safety, concussion safety stuff started some years ago, and the NFHS put in the minimum 2-minute penalty for checks involving the head and the neck, and the NCAA put in the minimum 1 minute locked in for head and neck stuff. There was some misinterpretation by some officials that all slashes to the head were 2 minutes locked in. And there was, I did
call
several
that
games.
A 1 minute slash.
I did several games where at the beginning of the game, the other officials were calling every slash that involved the head 2 minutes locked in. And the rule actually says that it has to be excessively violent or excessively uncontrolled slash to the head. But I would call this, the term I put on this is a common slash, and this is a 1 minute garden variety
slash. Yeah.
Clear 1 minute. Yep.
Yeah.
And under the new rules, that you shouldn't, unless the guy's acting loopy, you wouldn't blow it. You wouldn't flag it. Flag it. You would flag it, but you
it's
wouldn't.
not an immediate whistle.
Right.
Right.
And clearly he doesn't rear back like so. He
Yeah.
does lift his stick up, but he doesn't swing it behind his head to make a violent swing. It just looks like he lifts it up and reaches out, and when he reaches out, he gets him right on the helmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely just your garden variety slash.
Yeah, I would say, if he was really hauling off on the head or on a slash and he caught the head a little bit, you still could potentially have a 2-minute non-releasable slash versus the 2-minute in the, kind of targeting the head kind of thing. But if he's really reeling at the head, I'm probably going the 2-minute lock.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did an informal survey on one of those Lax forum things, and the officials who responded, they said 9 out of 10 of their slashes involving the head were 1 minute releasable. Only 10% or less were the 2-minute locked in type. All right.
Good opportunity for the officials to come together and talk about it, though. I mean, not this one, but if it gets more serious.
All right. Let's go to. Come on, clip. Okay, here's another one.
I like it.
All right, again, Lux and Purple have not seen these clips at all, and so they are in the hot seat doing a extemporaneous kibitz about these plays they've never seen.
Okay, so let me just chat here what I see. So he does a check, guy kind of falls on his own. He doesn't really hit him while he's down. A check while he is down is against the stick is legal. So I haven't seen a slash. I haven't seen any body, oh, there's a little bit.
Watch the guy's helmet real good.
Yeah, the first one he gets him in the head.
Check.
Yeah.
Yep, it is a slash. Yep, right there is the slash.
I would go to slash.
Second one's clean. First one's a slash. What do you got, Dustin?
I put this one in there.
I definitely got a slash on the first check.
The call made was a slash. And just to review for you guys, illegal body checks. So the question is, what can you do to a player who's on the ground? Well, you really can't do anything to the player if he has anything but his feet touching. But you can do whatever you want to his stick, except kicking it. You can check his stick like this guy's trying to. Unfortunately, he catches some head when he's trying to check the guy's stick. And he got caught, and he was called with a slash. So body checking of an opponent who has any part of his body other than his feet on the ground is an illegal body check. The other illegal body checks are body checking of an opponent who's not in possession of the ball or is within 5 yards of a loose ball. If he's 5 yards away, you cannot body check him. And you can't hold him either. Body checking of opponent from the back or below the waist is illegal as well.
Right.
All right. Move on to number 3.
One thing to keep in mind on that. One thing to keep in mind on that particular play as well is that you see. Well, we got that.
We got a couple.
If anybody's looking at YouTube, this is 3-4 in the playlist I sent you a link to. If anybody's looking at YouTube, send me a note in the chat, and I'll quit. I'll quit talking about the YouTube if nobody's looking at YouTube. But if you can't see video, just a reminder: go to that YouTube playlist that I sent you the link to, and I will announce which play we're looking at, which clip we're looking at. Okay, carry on about this one.
Assuming there's no whistle, but ouch. Yeah. I have my favorite call coming up here pretty soon, I think. Right?
I'm thinking ejection right there, man.
Yeah. So I think so what I'm thinking is, okay, no whistle yet. We got a good slash, one slash. That's not so much. And then boom, another slash. Whistle. And now we're whistling, another flag down. So
look at the torque.
It's live play. So we're going to have simultaneous penalties because they both occur live. Now, getting together with the refs, look at that. That slash is a pretty brutal slash, and then he hauls off and hits them with a slash kind of to the stick, and boom. I don't know. Maybe if he gets it into the body. What do you see, Dustin?
So I have the player in the blue jersey. He's going for an uncontrolled check without a doubt. It's just unfortunate that number 7 is bending down as soon as he's making his check. I think that the blue player his intention was to check the cross of his opponent with a pretty hard check. He just got him right in the back.
Yeah,
I think he might have even got him in the back of the neck.
But definitely,
so,
without a doubt, it's a slash. I don't
yeah,
think
he hit. Yeah, I think he gets him in the head, doesn't
the
he?
intent wasn't there to hit him in the head. And then number 7 gets pissed off and he does a baseball swing right to the face mask. So
yeah, it's worse than a punch. So we're probably looking at an ejection on White, which is a 3-minute.
you can see the official. You can see the official who's throwing the flag and blowing the whistle at the same time because we have a personal foul during a loose ball. And so now, once we have the whistle here, 7's penalty is dead ball foul.
Yep.
And so that being said, Blue's going to have possession of the ball.
Well, no. Well, no, there is no whistle yet under the new rules.
Yeah, you can see the whistle, the official.
Well, no. Yeah, let's just play this out as a non-whistle, though.
You want to play it out as a non-whistle?
Right, because normally it wouldn't be.
You can see the official blowing it.
Yeah, but let's do it by the rules. So the rules say that this is a flag down, slow whistle.
Correct.
And when the other slash occurs here, now we have a flag down whistle.
That should be, we have simultaneous fouls.
So we have simultaneous fouls, so we can walk through this whole thing. So what we got to come to first is what do we have for each foul?
Right.
So first one on Blue, I'm looking at the chat. I now see that others are saying 3 minutes for Rob Wyman, 2. I'm kind of the version, I'm thinking that's 2. The guy really hauls off on his back. And I know that I'm going to probably eject, if my other officials kind of agree with this one, the slash. I'm probably giving 3 minutes and an ejection to White. What do you think, Dustin, looking at it?
Yeah, I agree with you on the calls, but if you look closely, there's no possession. Number 7 of White goes to scoop.
Yeah.
Number 7 goes to scoop, but he never really has possession of the ball.
That's
point. Fair enough.
That's what I'm saying.
So let's run it through both scenarios. But okay, so we're going to go 2 minutes for Blue and 3-minute ejection for White. But let's do it with the dead ball first, live ball, dead ball. So live ball, dead ball, you're going to do it in the order that the fouls occur. So Blue gets, we're going to penalize Blue 2 minutes, right? And Correct. Then dead ball, we're going to penalize White 3 minutes, eject him, and he has to go to leave the facility if there's somebody to watch him. If not, he can sit at the end of the bench under the new rules, right? And because the dead ball is the last thing that occurred on White, it'd be blue ball at the center X. Getting ready for not a face off, but at the face off X, yeah. Okay. Now, so the only thing that's different on the simultaneous is the first thing we get is, let's assume that the whistle, they had possession, there was no whistle, and they were simultaneous, so both occurred during live ball. We are going to penalize the 2 players. Good thing for the refs to come together and talk about this, but they got a 2 minute and then a 3 minute ejection. So it was loose ball, so that messes it up. But let's say initially it was white ball, but then the ball came loose. Who was entitled to the ball? But you don't get there because we have more penalties on White 3 minutes versus Blue that has 2 minutes. Yeah, so it'll be blue ball, and the only thing that's different here is it starts at the position on the field where the ball is. You don't advance the ball to the center X. Right? Are we good with that?
Yeah. Yeah, Rob says, show me a clip of a hit to the head that's more aggressive than what Blue does. He thinks 2
Oh.
minutes is not enough.
Yeah, I kind of disagree. I think so, Rob. Who knows?
Woo.
I think is going for that stick. But yeah, we could have a discussion about a 2 or 3 minute, but I would probably call the two version there.
Now, I will make one point that nobody's commented on yet. This is the kind of a play, especially, if you didn't see that big lump, that big axe chop, and you were screened out and you couldn't see how hard blue hit white, and you thought it was just a slash, fine. But when white comes up and gets in the batter's box and swings for the fences playing baseball, you should run in there full speed. The officials should be making a beeline to there, because that's when somebody's going to throw a punch and all hell can break loose.
Right.
In my mind, there are 3 times that you need to sprint when you're officiating, and I keep that in mind because I'm on Medicare now. That's one. When you're the new lead, you got to get to the goal. Okay, you got to get to the goal. Number 2, if there's a shot to the end line that's going out, you need to turn and make a couple of quick steps to make it look like you care and you're trying to get there to make the right call on who gets the ball. You need to run when you get to the cone, and you need to run in there when something ugly like this happens and get in there amongst the players, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, and I think, and some people are putting in the 3 minutes for the blue. And I really have no problem with going to 3 minutes if that's what we kind of decide as a crew to go do. I do see a difference between blue's check and white's check here.
White's not playing lacrosse. Yeah, White's not playing lacrosse.
Right. So that would get to the ejection versus 3 that is not an ejection, and go from there. So.
And the other thing is we're watching the super slow-mo, even though it's grainy. We're watching this 50 times. So, again, this is not meant to embarrass anybody. Just trying to learn from what kind of stuff is out there.
I'm still sticking with the point of I know we're not supposed to rule on what was going to happen. However, if 7 doesn't bend down, I don't think that the check lands on that player's back like he does. I think it's unfortunate that he got hit in the back of the top of the neck like he did, but it's definitely not vicious intent like what number 7 has, and that's the only thing that we have between the differences of the 2 checks.
Yeah, so, other than it's a big swing,
right? It's definitely a big hack,
and it's uncontrolled.
Definitely in the spot.
So, Dustin, you would go 2 minutes. You would vote for 2 minutes on that.
Seeing this, I'd probably go 2.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a gray zone for everybody to think about. Let's move on to the next one. This will be number 3-5. Number 3-5.
Yep. That's easy. That's an easy call.
So the question is, what call would you make? And just because somebody's down at the ground, it makes it look bad. But what do you think the actual foul is, Lux? And I guess part of that depends on the level of play, the tone of the game, et cetera, et cetera. But
of course,
this was a relatively close game.
So the way, so for me, of course, we got the flag and the guy's down and he's potentially hurt. So we're going to whistle it dead pretty quick. And they got the ball. So good. So boom, we're dead. And we have a defenseless player. And he hits him in the back. But I'm going to go with defenseless. He doesn't even see this guy coming. So at a minimum, right, we have 2 or 3 minutes. In ejection, I guess. But I'm looking at it, and that's where my procedure is. Okay, let's get the refs together first. Make sure nothing's going to happen. There's no fighting, nothing. So we're kind of coming in, getting all the players situated, and then we do keeping our heads up. Officials come together, and we start talking about it. what did you see? What did you get? Yeah, you hit him in the back. The guy didn't see it coming. Are we good on defenseless player? Yes. And then the hit, how hard is the hit? And you can't really necessarily tell there, but
you can't, right?
We're probably debating between a 2 and a 3. Probably, in a high quality game, I'm probably more towards the 2. But I'd have to know what's been going on. Is it getting out of control or not?
When you see a kid that's going to deliver a blow, you're going to see him kind of bend at his knees, kind of tuck and deliver a blow either with the shoulder or maybe even lean his head into it.
And he doesn't.
This guy here, he doesn't look like he even kind of squats. He does hit him, and it is a blind side, but he doesn't have that vicious intent. It looks like more he's going to do a check here on the stick, and it just collides into him. He just runs into him with his body more in an upright position.
And look, the guy's
he just runs into him.
Yeah, and he's up in the air. He's leaping, so it makes it look a little worse than potentially what it is. But other things that for the officials out there that we should maybe think about too is, okay, we don't have to rush the call. Let's see if he gets up and all that kind of stuff too to make.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think, and I will tell you that in this game, I think there was no call on this. So I was thinking at a bare minimum, this is a push, a loose ball push. At a bare minimum, I'm not saying that that's what it is. I don't do college, but I think maybe in college might that be a loose ball push, or somebody going to go for targeting in college for that?
No,
probably
it's not. It's not at college, but remember we're talking high school here. So what I don't like is he doesn't see the blow coming. He can't be doing it. He can't be hitting him while he's blind.
Well, I guess the point is it's hard to tell. It's hard for me to tell how much of a hit it was versus a guy leaping in the air getting pushed in the back at the same time. I don't know. We don't have the right angle for that. The guy runs over and is checking at him. Casey McDonald says he could think maybe it could be a push, but I think we would agree that it has to be something, but that's the minimum it could be. But most people are wanting to go with an illegal body check and are calling it defenseless, which in high school is a mandatory too. There's no option for illegal body check in the back that the guy doesn't see. That's 1 minute. I think you got to go to 2 non-releasable.
Right. I'm trying to protect the players on those blind hits, and especially at the high school level. That's where whiplashes happen too, and all that. So, I'm very much towards the defensive player.
I'm not so sure that there's not a little bit of deception going on by the player. I don't think he got hit that hard. And I agree with a couple of the people who were saying they might go with a push. It's too bad that maybe you could make up an illegal body check 1 minute and just say he got him in the side. I don't know, or I don't know. I don't know how you could do. It sounds like we're stuck between a play on loose ball push and 2 minutes non-releasable with nothing in between.
And no, you could still get him on the 1 minute. So think about the goalie coming out on a guy. Does he know he's there? In this case, I don't think he knows he's there. So that's why I go more with the defensive player versus the goalie. Let's say he's on the crease, that pass is coming into the crease and he's moving out to catch the ball and the goalie plows him in the back. That's, in my mind, that's a situation where the guy doesn't necessarily see the goalie coming to hit him, but he knows that player is there and he can expect that he might get that hit, that push, that illegal body check from behind.
I'm concerned that I don't even see the official anywhere in sight to rule on this play.
Yeah.
All right, keeping in under the theme of pushes. Oh, this guy got pushed right in the back. Yeah. He got pushed right in the back, Lux.
Yeah.
He saw him coming, but he got pushed right in the back.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that, right in the back.
Yep, and he turns. So Now so on the push, on the sideline type push, here in my mind, he's turned his back to the player. Not that we call that he's turned his turn, but it's a good no call, or whoever's making that call, to turn the ball over, in my opinion. There's other calls. There's other calls where guys maybe scoops the ball up on the sideline and gets that little hip bump that knocks them out of bounds from behind. That's purely from behind. And even though it wasn't a big hit, it's enough that it gains a significant advantage. So then in my mind, you have to make that call as a push. If I can call the ball loose, I prefer to do that. But if there's possession, like in this case, I got the turnover. I like the turnover call.
Rob says he's got a pretty wide grip on his cross.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's see.
Yeah, he just turns his back on him.
So under illegal body check, Article 4, if a player who is about to be body checked turns his back, jumps, or moves in such a manner to make what started out to be a legal check appear to be illegal, no foul. And I think that's what we have here. This is, I think, a good example of a guy turning. He was going to get him from the side, then he turned.
Yeah.
And, he wasn't out of bounds. The white is not out of bounds here. This is the soccer lines, the further lateral. You can see the cone. It's misleading sometimes with these football fields with these white lines, but he was not out of bounds yet when he got checked. All right, let's move on to the next one here. Number 3. This will be number 3-7 if anybody's looking at YouTube.
Leans into it, no doubt about it. Doesn't come set. Leans his left shoulder right into the guy. Textbook.
Yeah, good call.
All right, Andy's scolding us for not looking at the comments. We're looking at the comments. Y'all keep your eyes on the comments and answer any questions that you see in the comments.
Yeah, I am. I thought we were. Now, the only thing
a signal like this, I put my arm in the air and I actually punch at my arm to indicate illegal screening. What do you guys do?
Well, the NFHS book, that's the college signal, and many people don't realize it, but the NFHS book has a different signal, and that is, this, starting here and then sweeping down. It's just a minor difference. Yeah. I think probably either way works. So.
And, he's leaning out enough.
Yeah. So what are the components of a legal screen, Lux? What do you have to do?
So when you have to not be moving for a legal screen. Your stance is within your shoulder width. You don't have your legs out extra.
Right.
You can't throw a hip, and your stick needs to also be within that frame.
Correct.
To stick out there.
And the fourth thing?
The player has to actually run into the screen.
Make contact. So if you could stand there doing the splits with your legs 6 feet apart, but if the guy doesn't touch you, that's no call.
Well, and then one other thing to think about, although with screens, you usually don't deal with this, there needs to be an advantage gained, right? But usually with illegal screens, they're so obvious, you really need to make that call and just move the ball the other way. Even if
that's a good point. The technical fouls are supposed to be a principle of advantage, disadvantage, but is Blues, even in this case, he's disadvantaged a little bit, but not severely. But you can see him. That's an illegal screen.
Right. And if you don't call it, you'll probably get more problems associated with not making that call.
Right.
So on this particular play here, as far as the mechanics goes, the trail official is the one that actually makes the call. So once he makes the call, he's going to turn and go to become the new lead. this happens on the single sides half of the field or side of the field. So in this transition, the single side should be making his way to the cone, and as soon as that uh, midi or whomever would be the one to pick up the ball, defenseman would pick up the ball. We got to be ready to blow that in. It's in that overlapping area between whether it would be the trail official, the new trail restart, or the single side. I'd be more inclined to have the single side start that play.
So Andy's talking about the disadvantage is a bit too subjective, but actually for technical fouls, Andy, that's what it's all about. You're trying to make a decision on calls based on advantage, disadvantage.
Yeah, this one's the easy one
with
too.
technicals.
Definitely doesn't get set. He gets set, but then he moves.
He moves. Plus, look at his stick.
His cross is horizontal. Needs to be vertical.
Right.
His stance is a little wider. He's a taller kid.
He does disrupt that offensive pulling guard too.
Yeah. and he does. He can't get to the guy. Yeah. So that's definitely a disadvantage there.
And here's the thing: he doesn't even need to because he's beat.
He's
anyway.
way behind anyway.
Yeah. It's a pulling guard.
All right.
I love the pulling guard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stand there either with that big guy coming at me.
No.
All right. Let's move into another subject here. A couple of weeks ago when we did our last webinar, we talked a little bit about offsides and when you might not notice it, when it doesn't matter at all. I talked about Rule 22-2, which was when the score was 22-2. You kind of don't see it, or at the end of the game, that's not even close. I put this one in here because this is an example of an offsides. White's offsides, but he's offsides because he's trying to get in that last check and disrupt the guy, and he's harassing him, and he didn't make it. And I think that's a good flag to throw there. I think that's Boyd throwing that flag.
Yeah. I'd like to get a count on the number of the offensive players because you can see at the middle of the screen there's a player in blue who's coming back.
Ooh.
I wonder if when
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it's still offsides. It's the right call, but that's a good point. You got 1, 2, 3, 4,
6. I see 6.
7, 8. I see 8. I mean, no, 8 on the white team.
White, you see?
Right,
white,
yeah, we got the offsides on the white. I was talking about the team in blue. I think this is Lower Alabama.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think they're 6. I think they're okay.
Yeah. So he was just going back by position, knowing that he's supposed to be back.
Mm-hmm.
Frank's looking at a slash, like that one into the guy's back a little bit.
No, he was pushing on him. I think you're seeing the stick moving around. I don't think so. I think it's just pushing the result of the first play.
Frank's talking about the guy at about the 45.
Yeah, maybe. Mm-hmm. But you got to see it.
I don't think that's at our bar.
Yeah, it kind of scraped his back. He definitely hit the guy with a stick in the back. The question was, how much money did he get? How much bang for the buck did he get? I don't know. Boyd's standing right there and passed on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not.
I think that's a bye-bye check.
Here's another one. Another example, I think, of the same thing. A guy that gets called for being offsides because he was chasing the guy and just went one step too far. He wasn't like subbing out and stepped on the line on his way to the sub area.
They're just not paying attention to where they're at. That's
right. Right.
And they're beating on the guy. So
yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next one. And here is yet another one. Again, a white player is chasing. He's trying to catch blue, but he steps over, even though there's no complete line through that center marking there.
Right.
He's over the line.
I think that may be one we can turn our eyes on that one. Clearly, no midline. He's borderline.
But he gets the slash. So you're either going to hit him for the slash or the offsides. I like the offsides call, or potentially the slash, but I don't.
A little back check.
think
Yeah, he
it's
back checked him.
Yeah.
But the reason I put that one in is not necessarily for this, but this is the beginning of this play, which ended with this. So there's a flag down. Let me get the right
If
one.
the attackman makes it number 8 in the attack zone, why it's an offside? It would be offsides, Ian. I'm not
So
sure.
here's the continuation of that play. We got a flag down, slow whistle. So what happens here? Remember, this is the continuation of that offsides flag that was thrown. And so there's a flag down. So when there's a flag down, we're looking
There's a second
for
foul by the defense.
Oh, are you calling it a push there? Oh, does he have his hand up? I wasn't looking at the ref. Oh, yeah. Yep, there's the hand up for the push, or did he just blow it dead?
So it looks like he's probably calling a play on.
Yep, so you can't have it with the flag already down.
So you would have to have
Right.
a second flag.
So remember, when there's a flag down, slow whistle going on, everybody needs to hear flag down. Everybody needs to repeat flag down, so all the officials and players know that there's a flag down, because the rules change a little bit. Because now the next penalty by either team is going to end up with a whistle. It might be a flag and a whistle, or it might be just a whistle,
Right.
but it's going to be a whistle. In this case, since the offending team commits a loose ball technical, that's going to be a second flag down, immediate whistle. And that pusher is going to go serve 30 seconds. So this is a case where we had goodies in effect, but we forgot the goodies and just did a play on, and we let that push get away with it.
And that's an easy one to miss. So the crew really needs to help each other out with that one too. Anybody can step in, especially after that whistle, and go up. It's a subsequent quick foul on the team that's already offended. There, you need to sit down too.
Getting to the chat room, Andy, on the pass play, Andy was wondering if they had 8 in the attack zone. I think we determined that blue was not offside, but the 8 were the 7 defenders plus the goalie, making white offsides. Right? Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's see. Let's go
On this play here, with the subsequent foul happening, the second foul on the defense, and you can see the official throwing his hand up for the play on. Once the crew gets together to discuss what was seen on the play, and it is determined that a second flag should have been thrown, I'm okay with that late flag coming in and having to explain to the coaches, yes, by rule, the enforcement should be a second flag down. And just so everybody knows that indeed we do have a second time serving player.
Right. All right. There's a lot. Let's see. Here we go. This is a Shreveport game. This is our buddy Eric Sella.
Yeah.
This is a good play on. Blow it dead. Give the signal. Point your arm. This is kind of perfect. And this is what you should do. Play on, signal, blow the whistle, signal, point. Now, if you look closely, though,
the other guy's offside too.
Blue steps over, so you could have blown the whistle right when that guy stepped over, and you got these simultaneous technicals, or Blue committed a foul. They were offended during a play on, but then they lose it when they offend, and you could have blown it a little bit quicker.
But the play's dead. It can't be offside. So it's one of those where you're not that good. You just don't be there.
Yeah, right. This is offsides. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
So Eric did a wonderful job on that. And but we're not all perfect, are we? So let me show you something subsequent here. Let's see.
Making sure to get the field set before we blow this next play in. And number 7 does a good job by just getting back on the right side of the field.
Yeah, that's again, that's a common error that I make is I forget you're so gung ho to get the play restarted. You got to give them a chance to get back on sides, or if there's, you got
Now, I'll
another.
tell you this, if number 13 continues to go over the midline, then the numbers would be correct and we wouldn't have to wait to 7.
Yeah, right.
So there's a lot to see on this one. Let's just watch this one a couple of times and y'all figure it out here. I'll tell you, the first call is a ward, and then what happens after that? Whistle was blown for a ward, so we're going to restart. Restart.
Ooh, didn't start
Within
in
5 yards.
Yeah, he's in the box. He didn't start outside the box.
He's in the box and 5 yards. Watch in the box and 5 yards. Now I've done that before. I stopped a guy up around the 30 because his chin strap was unloose. I stopped. He buckled up and he buckled it. I started it in. I should have moved him out, but I didn't. I mean, this one's not super egregious, but yeah, all restarts start outside the box.
This is a good term to say that we want to have quick restarts, but not rushed restarts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then that brings up the last year's institution of the quick restart situation where we can restart it with defenders within 5 yards of the ball carrier, but not offensive players within 5 yards. But the defenders have to give 5 yards before they play them. And that right there maybe could have even been a back check, but he clearly plagued the guy before he got 5 yards away.
Right, and that's a delay of game penalty.
Delay of game. That's a flag down, slow whistle, and you're looking for goodies.
He can run with them. He can do all kinds of things, but he can't check them, and he can't make him have to deviate course to get around the guy to go to the ball.
And so we're looking for goodies because of the flag down, slow whistle for the delay of game, and the goodies comes kind of quickly right there. I don't know if y'all are seeing it at the same time I'm seeing it. This play right here is what ended the play. Y'all see the blue defender with his arms spread apart?
Mm-hmm. And cross check.
Yeah. So that's a cross check, I think, for sure. And if you look at it, it's a bit late. I mean, the ball is has been shot and has already bounced off the goal and is dribbling out of the crease. Then he gets checked. Let's see how it looks here. This is back showing the ward again.
So whatever you want to call here, probably the cross check, because that's less. If you have a choice and you have a chance to think about it, that's less of a questionable call. A decision like an unnecessary roughness with the late hit or illegal body check with the late hit. But either way, then when the coach complains about it, you go, Coach, you take it. It's either late hit or a cross check, and we got both of them. So,
okay, let's move on to the next one. If anybody's looking at YouTube, this will be 315, 3-15. So this is a relatively lower caliber game.
Mm-hmm. Into the body. So under the new ward rules, that's what I'm thinking about right here. And he's against the body.
Yeah,
and
he puts his arm.
Like he leaned into him. It just looks like he just runs into the guy and he loses his footing.
Yeah, but I'm probably got him for the ward because it's to the body.
Yeah, I think this is not going to be
disadvantaged. So
it is the player in white does need to go to the weight room a little bit, but he does get shoved back. So the guy redirects the defender's body with his arm. So you can't redirect his body. Yeah. You can redirect his stick, which I don't think I've quite ever picked up on or seen a player moving a guy's stick with his arm, but it's usually the body. But I guess if you're super good, you can shove a guy's stick away from you with your forearm if you have two hands on the cross.
That's
I agree with I agree
And
with
so
him.
Frank asked arm on the stick. And then the only thing that could get worse is if he really charges a guy to knock him over, you can get an unnecessary and make it a minute and put him
Right.
in the box.
And if he puts his head down and spears him, you can call him for spearing or targeting. I mean,
that's right.
If the offensive guy goes head to head with him and butts him like a ram, that can be targeting if it looks like the guy intentionally headbutted him.
Yeah. Yeah. Then, if he's really targeting him, then it's minimum of 3.
Right. Okay.
We got a rule interpretation here. You can't call a war if 2 hands are on the stick under the new rules.
That's not true.
It's actually opposite of the rule there. You can call a ward if there's 2 hands on the cross, but it has to be contact made to the body. If a player has his hands on the cross and he's making contact with the opponent's cross, that is legal.
That's okay.
It's when the player makes contact on the body.
Right. So you can have a simple ward call, Andy.
He's thinking I think he's referring to the NCAA rule, but we don't want to start discussing NCAA rules here.
Right.
We're strictly talking about the Federation rule, and which was a memo that came out.
Yes. A memo came out about 2 or 3 years ago that they retracted at the end of that season. It said you can't be called with a ward if you had 2 hands on the stick, but they reversed that, Andy. So 2 hands on the stick, you can't hit the guy's body in high school.
Cannot.
You can only hit the defender's stick. So you still can be called with a plain old ward, take the ball away, if a guy shoves a guy's body with his arm or his elbow with 2 hands on the stick. Of course, if he has 1 hand on the stick, that's the old-fashioned ward that we all know and love. If he runs over the guy in a big way, though, you can go unnecessary roughness, and it could be 1, 2, 3 minutes. I guess technically it could be an ejection. Yeah. So let's look at this play.
I definitely would have went unnecessary roughness on the previous play.
Yeah. So this one's pretty cool. This is Boyd running down the sideline. So this is a wrap check, and we got 2 things.
Is the ball stuck in the cross?
We got the flying Karamazov brothers juggler guy, and the guy loses his stick on the yard sale wrap check, but it bounces right back into his hand, which is kind of cool. But also in super slow-mo, you can see that Boyd detected that when the guy did the wrap check, he had his left hand in front of him and held him. So Boyd called a hold on that, which I thought was real good. But watch what happens to the guy's stick after this wrap. Boom, there it goes, and bounce right into his hands. He was not stickless for very long.
You don't see that often.
No. Yeah. Yeah, the hold was a call.
Yeah, good hold call.
Good hold call, I thought. I thought that was real good. We see a fair amount of wrap checks, and I'm not quick enough to see that hand come around, but Boyd caught that guy on that one. I think that was a good hold call. All right, we just have a few more left, and we're going to finish at an hour again, and we're getting through more plays here. All right. Okay, this one's kind of interesting here. The next one is 3-17. Eric Sella made this call. I couldn't tell from his hand signals exactly what he called, but I think I know what he's calling here. Y'all watch this and tell me what you think this loose ball call is that Eric made.
Maybe a contact. I don't know. Maybe either.
The blue player's playing man ball.
It's within 5 yards.
And he probably said something, so he probably have a conduct and just loose ball conduct and give the ball away. Is that it?
We had the cross check hold that if your hands are spread apart and you're using the portion of the cross between the hands to control a player's body, that is considered holding.
I think that's what he's calling. But if you look, this riding attackman in blue has his hands as far apart as he possibly can because he's got a 42-inch stick and he's got one hand up at the head and one at the butt. And it's not a cross check, but I think he may be calling a cross check hold. I think if you watch it, if you watch it, he's within 5 yards. So if the guy if Blue would played him with the gloved hand or his hands close together, I think it would have been fine. But I think maybe Eric saw his hands far apart and couldn't come up with what the right call was. But I don't know. Eric's not here to ask.
Right, and Jamie put in there interference. If it gets outside of 5 yards, you're right. If that's what you think it was, but it has to be outside of 5 yards. So they're right at 5 yards. I'm thinking.
Luckily, we have a football field here to help us out with 5 yards.
Right. Probably, if you have to pull out the tape measure, if you have to pull out the tape measure, then it's probably within 5 yards.
Again, so just in game management for me, again, is when I'm going to call that technical, there's a couple thoughts that go in my mind. If the ball's rolling around and I have a kind of a crappy game and things are going on, I want to get the ball in the stick, I'll find that foul and I'll blow the whistle. But on the opposite hand, if it's a good game and they're good players, was there really an advantage gained with this guy on top of the ball already? And I just kind of, good game, I may let it go. But that's a 50-50 call for me.
Yeah.
Well, he gave it to Green.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
Is there really enough advantage? Was there, what happened in that really depends on. And I kind of see what he's calling, but he's like almost love tapping him.
All right, let's move on to the next one. This is a bang bang crease play, which we all like. Bang bang crease play. Same game. Now the crease line is hard to see, but it extends well above. It goes well above that shooting circle for soccer, that yellow line. The blue line, if you look, it sticks out. I don't know, in the midline of the field. It goes about a foot or two outside the yellow, so it's hard to see the guy's feet. I will tell you that the call was that somebody was in the crease.
Okay, that's a good call. A couple things. So what we want to look for first is, was he in the crease even before he leaves his feet? He leaves his feet. He was not grounded. He was not put there by the defense. Does he land any time after the ball goes in? And he's in the cylinder there. I don't think he hits the goalie's stick, but
I don't think so.
Who knows? I can't tell for sure. But when he goes up, he must have his feet in the crease, I'm guessing. I can kind of see the line there.
Yeah, I think his left foot is in the crease, right, that he leaps off of his left foot. So he's leaving on his own volition. Yeah. So, but I think his foot's on the line there. All right, let's say his foot wasn't on the line. If he leaves of his own volition, now you got to answer the question, when he comes down, does he touch the crease at all?
Right.
I think his left hand, one of his gloved hands might have touched and one of his feet might have touched, in which case it doesn't matter when the ball goes in the net. That's no goal in high school. If you leave your feet and land in the crease, it's no goal, no matter when the ball goes in. Now, if the guy was athletic enough to avoid the crease altogether, then the goal is good.
Oh, so he's also saying, Casey's saying, and you're right, yes. Casey.
The pole.
Right, the guy running through. There. Right, that's why I froze it there. The long pole running through, I think he got a foot on the crease as well. So I thought this was two crease violations. Not to mention, watch when this guy comes up. He's great Scott. He's got black face paint. He's got triangles under his eyes.
Yeah, that's one thing you take care of before the game.
Right. I mean, it's clearly in the rule book that the face paint and the zip codes and all the kind of stuff other than the Drew Brees line, they don't want that in high school. Is considered taunting. But we do want to catch that while they're warming up.
But
catch it while they're warming up. I had a game.
Don't.
Yeah, I'm not going to take the ball away from somebody. That's on us to not catch it before the game. I had a game where we didn't catch it at the warm-ups, but at the lineup, all of them had all of this Kiss Gene Simmons stuff on. And I just told them, you know what, next game, don't come out here with all that. I wasn't going to send them all off to make them all wipe it off. Yeah, Casey says worst rule ever. It's in there. And when I've found one or two players, I'll make sure the coach knows about it, and I'll tell the player, if it's well before the game. I think it's better if we don't have it, if you can get it done way before the game starts. But a lot of people don't care. But
this is the field where we had to get some flour to put around as the crease. Lux and I went up to Shreveport to do a playoff game. I think it was a Caddo. It was weird. It was Caddo Magnet versus Airline, and Caddo was the home team, but we were playing at this stadium here, which is Airline's home field. And we had some rain come through and washed away the crease line, and there was no way that they were going to be putting any paint on that field. And so we delayed the game until they found some kind of way to make a crease. And they went to the store and bought a bunch of flour.
Yeah, that's what we did in Florida, so that's what I suggested. And that's what
well, look, since then, guys, they put a blue line around it. They got some paint.
Yeah.
Well, they had paint on the field too, but it was the watercolor paint.
It rained away. Okay.
Yeah. All
right, we're going to look at a couple of bad hits, and then we'll be finished. Two more to go.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Fisher was quick with the flag.
Yep. So, Dustin, what are you seeing here? In super slow-mo repeat.
He receives the pass. He's going to make a shot. In my opinion, he's in a defensive state here.
And what is White doing? It's like he's going right for his chin.
I can't quite tell. But it does look like he gets underneath his chin with his helmet.
Yeah, and I left the sound on for the first couple of runs, and you can hear the pop. You can hear the plastic on plastic.
Yeah.
It makes a noise.
I'm thinking 3 minutes here. 3 minutes non-releasable.
The good thing is we got a flag down right on this, kind of big on these big hits in high school. It's you can always pick it up if you guys really thought something was clean, but.
I'm not sure what the call was in this game, but it's got to be a minimum 2. And this looks like targeting to me. Now, this game had a lot of penalties in it, Dustin. You and I have looked at this game. There was a lot of offsides. There were some other high hits, and then there was a worse high hit that was more subtle than this that I'm going to show you here in a second.
We had this discussion when the defenseless player rule was put into the NFHS rule book, and a lot of coaches were talking about this coma slide that Casey is discussing here. And at the end of the day, what we had to tell the coaches were, it doesn't matter how good of a slide it is. You can't take a player out who's in a defensive state, even though in past play this would have been a clean defensive play.
Yep.
But not in today's game.
Yeah, so Casey says it can't be defenseless on the crease. That's not true. He actually calls it out in the rule book as one of the 3 situations: buddy pass, blind, a blind hit, and it even specifically talks about the crease not being able to see it because our day of playing, you're on the crease, you're going to get laid out. Period.
Yep.
So
I think it's targeting. The guy goes and hits him in the head with his head. Bang! He gets him on the button, and I think that's targeting.
So how you coach it? You coach the kid to come across, put body on body, and stick on stick, and you don't wipe the player out.
Right. Don't try to hurt him.
Yeah.
I mean, when I played years ago, you
He
did try to hurt him.
launches. You see him come off his feet. So yeah, that's too much.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on.
Well, then, and he's whining that it's a goal like a good coach should. And coach, tell you, it's the rules of the game. That's the way it is.
Well, Lux, you and Dustin are doing college games. You do NCAA games. What's the call in an NCAA game on this?
That's perfectly legal.
Nothing. Not calling anything an NCAA game.
But that's the difference, right? That's it's a whole different level of
the hardest thing to
strength, skill, and they're not young kids still growing. So that's what NHS Lacrosse wants to make very clear why they have the separate rules.
Educate me on the helmet-to-helmet contact. There's not a targeting or a head hit rule. There's a head hit rule.
There is, but on that one,
that wouldn't be this at least 1 minute non-releasable.
Probably not.
Really?
Yeah. I'd have to see it for real on the field, and where that guy actually hits him. But I don't really see him blowing through the guy's head. I see his head's kind of down a little bit, so we do have some helmet-to-helmet contact. But at the college level, we're probably.
I think his head gets snapped back real hard. I think he gets hit in the head.
Yeah, he might. That might be a flag.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, just kind of from looking at this angle here, it's tough to see because you got the white helmet, the white jersey, the white net of the goal. It's hard for me to see exactly where that contact's made. Now, if I'm on the field, we're gonna have a better shot at it, especially if you're the lead official. Looking at it from right here, my opinion, maybe different from everybody else's, looks like he's got a clean check in the chest.
Yeah. So
it looks like we got a clean check in the chest, and like I said, if we have, if I'm calling an NCAA game or MCLA game, I don't do any NCAA games besides the Millsap ones in the past, but our MCLA games, I'm not calling this any kind of illegal contact, but in Federation, this is defenseless player.
Yeah. So the one thing I will add to that discussion that Dustin just gave is NCAA level. They have been in our calls imploring us as officials to make more of these calls. And when they're higher and a little bit harder than that, to actually eject players. We've got to change at the college level additionally. So we shouldn't accept that definitely at the high school level. And at the college level, they're working to get that out of the game. It's just we've been officials too long at the college level and played in with being able to blow people up on the crease. So until some things change at the college level, and they bench some officials for a litlittle while, it'll probably still have some big hits at the college level. So don't go by that. The leagues, the different leagues, and the leadership in the at the NIOLA level is trying to get these kind of things called.
All right, let's get back to the high school rules, and let's just say, for sake of argument, that there was no contact to the helmet, that the guy hit him in the chest. Does anybody want to sell unnecessary roughness for just being too big of a hit in high school? Often our unnecessary roughness penalties are followed by the crowd. Woo! And we definitely got the crowd noise here to clue us a little bit. Is that excessively violent body check for our level of high school play?
State championship game, depending on where that contact is made, if it's a clean check to the chest,
shoulder in the chest. Okay. That's in the state championship. Yeah, what the guys.
But that's still defenseless. The guy didn't really have a chance to see the check coming from that slider. So But Dustin's right. I mean, it kind of really depends how this game is and how clean that check is. If it's purely on the chest, center of the chest, you might be okay.
Andy's saying that to him it doesn't look like it's too big of a hit. That looks like that's a pretty big hit to me.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good smackaroni.
And again, Andy, the protecting the crease area stuff is gone from the sport. Get that out of everybody. Get that out of their heads.
And Rob brings up the point about the player having his hands wide, but I don't think he doesn't make contact with the cross. I don't think he gets him with his hands extended. I think he makes contact with the shoulder.
But then again, it's something you could use on a cross-check call or something like that too. You need a flag down on this.
If you didn't want to go 2 minutes, then I guess you could maybe sell a cross-check, maybe, yeah. But I think in our high school league, that's got to be some kind of penalty, and that's not to be passed on. That's my opinion of at least what I'm seeing on this.
So Andy's asking, so protect the crease is gone. It is gone. You don't wipe people out on the crease because they've driven to the crease. It's the same, same contact on the rest of the field. And when you don't have an opportunity to see the player coming, just because you're on the crease doesn't mean you get any special not protection. The shooter would get protection. That's all being taken out of the game for the health and safety of the players.
Oh, this play here.
All right, fellas, y'all watched this a couple of times. This took. Well, don't tell him, Dustin. Don't tell him yet. It took me watching this thing probably 10 or 15 times before I picked up on what was finally going on. And Lux and I looked at it. But this one's in there just to educate us that, man, you never know when something bad's going to happen and how sneaky it might look. That can be a bad foul, that we might get lined out and screened out and just don't see it. So does anybody see a foul in the chat room?
It's kind of blurry.
Yeah, it's look, the picture's bad. The sun's in the lens of the camera. It wasn't a high def camera. I can't even read the guy's numbers.
Does 8 butt check him with the butt end of his stick? Is that what I'm saying there?
Yeah, Lux, you know this play. We looked at this one a long time.
Yeah, okay, I remember that. Yeah, now I remember
this is it.
Yep. And then a little kick, yeah.
It's white number 8. And watch it. Here he comes and bang. You can't see. It's hard to see, but he goes with his left hand to the helmet, to the face of the boy, of the ball carrier. And actually, the guy was injured. He had a black eye. Then we saw a picture of the guy the next day, and the coach kind of lodged a complaint. We didn't have they lodged a complaint. We looked at the film, which y'all are too. And so not only did
somehow the butt end of the cross goes through the face mask and gets him in the eye.
He goes real quick. Watch right in here. He's going to give him a super quick pop to the face, but then watch what number 8 does after this punch to the face. Now watch him. He's turning, and he is doing this real quick. Watch him. He's standing right there on the side of the crease at the goal line extended.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
Yeah, and that took me a long time to finally figure out. Again, this is a crummy video, and this is zoomed in. This is really zoomed in to try to help us look a little bit. Watch him.
That was one of the first things that I picked up on.
Dustin's a young guy. He knows about all this crap, so he knew what that was from his gang days.
And then he gives him a little kick as he goes by, and
he's real quick.
Bang! Super fast. Now, in defense of the officials there, the lead official, who's on the far side, is completely lined out. This happens, and the guy's back to him. He got 2 other players in between. The guy's got 3 players around him. And then the single side, who's on our side, if you notice, right when that punch goes to the face, and it's real fast, he is lined out. There's a player right in between him and the play, right there. I don't know if you're seeing it with me, but 87, I think, is kind of in his way. And neither official had an opportunity to see it, even if they were looking right at it. So this is one that this was an ugly hit to the head that caused an eye injury that we didn't see. And I don't think it's just part of not having enough eyeballs out there, and we don't have super slow-mo multi-replay. But I put it in there just to show everybody that I think the league asked for our opinion about this. Dustin and I talked about it, and Luxian weighed in on it as our chief referee, and he communicated with the league. And I think the disposition of this was that this was a delayed ejection on number 8 for that hit and for the taunting. That's what the league went with. He did not play in their next game.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, the league's doing a good job of getting into the right position. Single side, we could argue that, he could have been in a quicker sprint to get down to his position. But I mean, they were both hustling to get to their settled position. That's just an unfortunate play here that players, the officials were blocked out and didn't get a clean view of the play.
And if the league cleaned this up after the fact, that's fantastic on the league.
But now, definitely on this right here, the single side has got a clear shot at the player who's given the
taunt.
The taunt.
Right.
We got to see that.
Okay. This is the last thing I'm going to show. We're almost done. And the advice I'll give all of our officials is if you're out on the field and you just saw something and you're not sure if something was legal or illegal, just keep your ears open, because you might get some help from some officials in the stands who can give you some excellent guidance on the rules. Being well versed in the rules, they can get you out of a jam. So let's look at some education from the stands here.
Oh.
That was legal. That was legal.
There you go. That's legal. That was legal. Quick decision, too.
Void! One-handed checks are illegal!
One-handed checks are illegal.
Boyd! One-handed checks are illegal!
One-handed checks are illegal, Boyd. So, Boyd.
That was legal.
That was legal. That's legal. But
one-handed checks.
One-handed checks.
That was legal. Void! One-handed checks are illegal!
All right. So that is...
Void! One-handed checks are illegal!
That is it. That is it. Actually, Frank, that's the guy doing the video.
It just goes to show you how small our community is.
It also goes to show how amazingly biased people can be when they're rooting for a team. They see things completely colored. Like Lux always makes the point, we're the only unbiased people out there. The parents are biased, the players are biased, and the coaches are biased. And we are the only unbiased ones out there. And I don't know, I got a chuckle out of those both.